Russell's arguably had his best season of his F1 career, with having 8 podiums, 2 pole positions and 2 race wins this season. But is he still underrated? Well, in this video we'll be discussing exactly that. We're going through his entire career so far and answering the question if he's still underrated by some of F1's fans. If you want to see more videos just like this one, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Let's talk about it. Before we talk about George Russell's F1 career, we have to go back to 2017 where he made his Formula 3 debut for ART, which back then they were one of the better Formula 3 teams. And in his rookie season he fought and won the championship, 79 points ahead of his nearest competitor Jack Aiken, which Russell ended the season with 4 pole positions and 4 race wins. Honestly, to dominate like that in your rookie season in Formula 3 is very impressive. Then came 2018, which he joined ART once again in Formula 2, which he once again fought for the championship in his rookie season alongside some familiar names. He fought for the championship with Lando Norris and Alex Albon, but in the end he absolutely dominated the F2 championship, 68 points ahead of Lando Norris. But to be fair, towards the end of that season Lando Norris did have some bad luck, but still winning the F2 championship by that big of a margin just shows his talent. Then came 2019 and Russell was finally on the F1 grid, and you'd think he would have a solid car like a Racing Point or something like that. When instead he got given the worst F1 car in the history of the sport, the 2019 Williams, which was arguably, like I said, the worst car ever made. It was a second off the next fastest car, and not only that, it was about 4 or 5 seconds off the next quickest car. Okay, maybe not that much, but it wasn't far off. But still, even in that season, Russell did have some brilliant moments. Not only he outqualified Robert Kubica in every single race, he nearly got into Q2 in that car, which honestly, if he got into Q2, that would have been unbelievable. But unfortunately, Robert Kubica did outscore George Russell in that season. At the German Grand Prix, which was an absolute chaotic race by the way, Robert Kubica overtook George Russell from Russell's slight mistake, and Robert Kubica got the point instead of George Russell. But still, Russell had some brilliant moments in the 2019 season, and heading into 2020, will the Williams car be any better? Well, heading into 2020, the Williams was still the worst car on the grid, but there wasn't that far off the pace, and this is when George Russell started to show his class, getting into Q2s more often than not, outqualified his teammates still in every single race. But unfortunately, he didn't get any points in the Williams. I say the Williams because at the Bahrain short layout Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton got COVID and George Russell stepped into his boots. That sounds really... But anyway, in his first race in arguably the fastest car ever made, he put it on the front row of the grid, not far off pole position, and after taking the lead heading into the first corner, it looked like it could have been Russell's first win in his first race for Mercedes. But unfortunately, a mistake under the safety car for Mercedes and George Russell getting a puncture cost him that chance. He still got P9 though, which was still a brilliant effort for his first race, but it could have been a lot more. But in 2020, Russell did show a lot of brilliant moments, and hopefully into 2021, he could get the call up to Mercedes. But unfortunately, in 2021, he was still in that Williams tractor of a car. But saying that though, the Williams wasn't too bad. It consistently got pace to get into Q2 and sometimes even into Q3. And George Russell once again outqualified his teammate in most of the races once again. But again, he had so many high moments, getting into Q3 multiple times, getting second place at the Belgian Grand Prix in the wet, and got his first podium in Formula 1. But again, 2021 was an unbelievable season, and hopefully heading into 2022, he actually has a chance of getting that Mercedes seat. Then came 2022 and finally George Russell got into that Mercedes seat. He would be alongside Lewis Hamilton, who lost the 2021 championship to Max Verstappen on the last lap of the race. But with new regulations, can Russell fight for some wins and maybe have an outside chance of a championship? Well, not exactly, because the Mercedes car was absolutely awful. It was at least half a second off the Ferrari and the Red Bull, and just had no pace. But saying that though, at some tracks Russell was able to fight for some podiums as well as Hamilton. And this is the season he got his first ever Grand Prix win in Formula 1. The 2022 again had some really high moments, getting pole position at Hungary, like I said, the win at Brazil, and just plenty of podiums. And not only that, he actually beat Lewis Hamilton in the championship standings in his first ever season. Then came 2023 and George Russell was hoping to fight for even more wins and maybe again an outside chance of the championship. When the Mercedes car was still not quite up to speed, Russell did still get a couple of podiums, but this was arguably Russell's worst season in Formula 1. Made too many mistakes, finished 8th place in the championship and was nearly 100 points off of Lewis Hamilton. But still, when he kept it clean, he had good pace and got some good podiums. And this is sort of when people were starting to say Russell was overrated and he shouldn't be in the Mercedes seat. So yeah, 2023 wasn't the best season for George Russell. Not many podiums, no race wins. He'd be hoping 2024 would be a lot better. Then came 2024, and this is probably Russell's most underrated season of his career. He got multiple pole positions, multiple race wins, multiple podiums, and outscored Hamilton by quite a big margin. So yeah, 2024, there's not much really to talk about in 2024, just a really good season. Oh, and also, the car was probably the 4th best. Now, at the tracks where it was the best, Russell actually won the races, but when he weren't the best, he still got good results. And now the current day, 2025, and this is Russell's best season by a mile. Again, consistent podiums, consistent pole positions, consistent race wins, and not only that, he's not had one really bad weekend. I would say his worst weekend is about a 6 out of 10, which is utterly stupid. And with 6 races to go, there's even more chance for Russell to get even more podiums and more race wins. So now we've talked about Russell's entire career in very small detail. It's time for my opinion. Do I think Russell is still underrated by some fans? And in my opinion, yes, he is. And the reason why I think he's underrated is he's not getting the credit he deserves. Certain races where the Mercedes is not expected to be anywhere near the top 5, he does it. Max Verstappen's doing the exact same thing and he's getting all the credit. So why is George Russell not getting any credit? Now that could be me being a bit biased because I'm a Russell fan, but I think Russell is definitely top 2 drivers of the season so far, maybe even the best, but I think that's a bit too far. Well, there we have it. That is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel since I've tried to make videos as many times a week as possible. Thanks for watching and I'll see you guys for my predictions for the United States Grand Prix coming soon.